We've talked on the YouTube channel a number of times, guys, about Fallout and the future of this franchise in particular. And you guys can check out all of that content here on the YouTube channel about Fallout, the history of Fallout, as well as the future of Fallout and the potential of Fallout 5, which is what all of us are really clamoring for and hoping that this is a true continuation of this franchise. Well, in this segment of the show, guys, I want to talk about the top 5 things that we want out of Fallout 5. And when I say we, guys, I'm going to be talking about my own opinion here. I know some of you will agree with some of the opinions that I have in the top 5 things that I want, but some of you may not. And if you don't, that's fine. I would just love to hear what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So coming in at number 1, guys, Fallout 5. I think it's really going to be important that we have new characters, new enemies, new locations, and just new environments to explore in general. So all in all, guys, having a game that I think is, within the same universe, of course, as Fallout, and probably a direct continuation from Fallout 4 into Fallout 5 would probably be preferable to most people. But I just want to see some existing characters, some existing enemies, some existing locations that we've already experienced in the past in Fallout. But I also want to see some new characters that are introduced into the fray, as well as enemies, as well as environments and different locations that you can explore. I think it's really important to keep it fresh, guys, to keep it kind of different. I mean, you think of any really great franchise out there, they're consistently evolving with time. And I'm not just talking about a graphic standpoint or from a gameplay perspective. I'm talking more so from just the things that are within the story, having ways in which that we can connect with these characters further, as well as, having new enemies to go up against. Having more to see and do within the world and the environments around you, being able to traverse the world in different ways that the other games haven't done yet. And I think a lot of those things will be capable here in Fallout 5. So that's number 1. Getting into number 2, guys, I want them to expand upon the multiplayer elements. So what I'd like to see, guys, obviously Fallout 76, lots of backlash there with that game. But what I will say is this: I like the concept of them having a multiplayer aspect to this franchise. Now, we've seen the success, of course, of Elder Scrolls Online. They've been consistently updating Elder Scrolls Online, which I think that when the next Elder Scrolls game comes out, that being Elder Scrolls 6, I believe that they will continue Elder Scrolls Online into that game and kind of expand upon that. What I'd like to see is Fallout 76, as far as like the concept of it, with the multiplayer elements brought into Fallout 5. Now, obviously, I always talk about having a full package deal, guys, having, a full campaign, having, multiplayer modes as well as co-op modes to really justify the $60 price tag. And obviously we want the story. We want a great story here with Fallout 5, but I think it's really important that after you're done with the story, you have more things to do within the universe, that being like multiplayer elements and co-op elements as well. And so I think they need to expand upon it though here, moving into Fallout 5. They know what they did right, they know what they did wrong, and now they know what they need to do different moving forward, kind of doing multiplayer from the perspective of within the Fallout universe. And so, like I said, I would like to see multiplayer elements brought into Fallout 5. I don't want it just to be a part of, just Fallout 76 or something. I'd like there to be multiplayer in Fallout 5, and maybe they call it Fallout Online or something along those lines. And this is just another way that you can connect with the universe. That gives you more ways that you're able to, play with your friends, play with other people out there, being able to go ahead and, have different ways and different earnable items and customizable items would be really cool as well within the multiplayer elements of the game, as well as co-op as well. So I think multiplayer is a must here with Fallout 5. Coming in at number 3, guys, I think there needs to be more crafting abilities. I think there also needs to be just more ways that you can traverse the world, and we kind of alluded to that earlier, along the journey. So we all know that Fallout typically is a pretty long campaign, which is a great thing, right? That definitely helps justify paying the price tag that they put on these games. But what I will say is that I think that if there isn't going to be multiplayer and no co-op modes, and this would also just be a great bonus even if those were included in Fallout 5, just having more ways, like I said, that we're able to when it comes to crafting, kind of going the next step up with crafting, going the next step with along the journey as you're traveling within this wasteland, being able to have other things to do. Side missions and things of that nature are one thing, but also just having other things that you're able to do. Kind of walking, if that's what you choose to do, from one location to the next, having a lot of things that you can, see and things that you can do, interact with along the way, whether those are collectibles, whether those are ways that you learn more about the Fallout universe. I think that's a really important thing as well. And then, guys, coming in at number 4 for me is, and this might be controversial to a lot of you, but I think it's really important that there are free-to-play elements here within Fallout 5. Now, I'm not saying like the story necessarily. This would be where the multiplayer would come in, where the multiplayer is like a free-to-play, kind of style or mentality here that Bethesda has moving into Fallout 5. And I'll tell you why. The Fallout universe has done incredibly well, guys, when we're talking from building a really nice-sized fan base here. Now, Fallout 76, obviously, was a turn in the wrong direction, but typically speaking, guys, every, franchise out there along the entire landscape of gaming has had at least usually one game, or at least, that has been kind of a step in the wrong direction for a franchise. And so what I'm getting at here is that having a way in which more and more people will be able to connect and play this game, Fallout 5, having free to play is going to get more eyeballs, more people playing it and trying it out, at least trying it. Because some people aren't going to want to pay the money to play, Fallout 5. Some people are going to want to try maybe just the multiplayer elements, and maybe that gets them to kind of dip their feet in the water, and then maybe they'll buy the full game. It's hard to say, but you look at all the games out there, and you see a good portion of them now that are big AAA titles are going free to play, or at least have elements of their game that is free to play, like Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, Valorant, all these different games, guys, that are coming out free to play, or at least have parts of them, elements of them that are free to play. I think that, personally, Bethesda, it would be kind of like their, almost like their saving grace, or, kind of their kudos to the community for kind of putting up with the stuff that they kind of, put out there in Fallout 76. And that leads me to the next thing, guys. Coming in at number 5, we as a whole, I think that we can probably agree on this. Maybe some of you won't, but I think that this is a game that we don't want any microtransactions. And look, the reason why I'm going to say no microtransactions in this game is something that I want is because, typically speaking, guys, microtransactions have never bothered me that much. I never really got kind of, sucked into, buying microtransactions. I've always liked the concept of earning things, earning items, and whether they're cosmetic items, whatever it might be, skins on your guns, or being able to customize your character and things of that nature. I just like to earn those things. I never was really big on paying to do those things. And so the reason why I'm saying, though, that I believe that this is a game that doesn't need microtransactions, because Bethesda in the past now, with Fallout 76 and other titles, have had issues really, not delivering on some of the, microtransactions, as well as like, some of the pre-purchase, items that you could, if you pre-ordered the game and such. They just had a lot of problems. And so, in my opinion, I think that this would be a real kudos to the community, showing that they still really care about Fallout, not from just a standpoint of making, another game, but also that they realized that they did something wrong in Fallout 76 in a number of different, instances, and we could go on the list of all the things that went wrong with Fallout 76 from a marketing standpoint to just all of those things, microtransactions and everything. So what I'm getting at here is that having no microtransactions, I think it would really help it as a company. I think it would be a real a big move for them to really get that, favor back from the community. And I think it's really important that there just aren't microtransactions. I don't think it's necessary. Now, the one way that I would say that it would be okay to have microtransactions would be if the multiplayer, that being Fallout Online or whatever they decided to call it, would be free to play. If it's free to play, then okay, you've justified having microtransactions. But if it's not free to play, then I don't think that they should have microtransactions whatsoever. And look, guys, we could go over the whole list of, reasons why there should be microtransactions, reasons why there shouldn't be. I'm just saying, for Bethesda as a company and where they are currently as a company, I believe that they shouldn't have microtransactions in Fallout 5. And personally, guys, I know there's a lot of you out there that believe that, that games, just in general, haven't really gone up with inflation. They've stayed $60 for years at this point, haven't gone up to $65 or $70 or $80 over time, which is typically what would happen. Like if you look at the price of movie tickets, they go up over time. And video games haven't done that, so they need to find new ways to make money. Microtransactions, of course, being introduced. And so I totally understand that. I'm just saying, guys, from that perspective of, Bethesda as a company needs to really kind of show us some good faith here with Fallout 5. And that's just my opinion, guys. And I'd love to hear yours in the comment section below. These are my top 5 things that I would like to see in Fallout 5. What are yours? Let me know. And for more Fallout 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.